Hello and welcome everyone to episode 6 of the Humanity in Flow podcast. My name is Liz Rothman and I'm joined today with Manjieh and Day, who I will let introduce themselves in just a second. Today we're going to talk about societal expectations and pressures and the impact of these on our health and how they sometimes push us past our healthy limits and boundaries. Manjieh, would you like to introduce yourself really quick, and then we'll go to Day and kick off our conversation.
Sure, yes. I'm Manjieh, the founder of Perfectly Here. Perfectly Here established in 2007. We've been teaching mindfulness, consciousness, wisdom practices, and mindful life optimization, a lot of good stuff. So hoping that we could help our global community become healthier, happier mentally, emotionally, and in every way possible. Thank you for having me.
Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Dayanara Thompson. I'm the founder of Align Your Vibes. We were founded in 2022 and it was to bring wellness to different communities. And then now we have health centers and we do corporate wellness. So all the fun stuff to keep all the vibes aligned. And I go by Day for short.
Day, do you want to launch us into our topic here for today?
So I'm really excited to talk about this topic today, especially about how societal pressures pushes us past a healthy threshold. And I think especially living in a fast-paced city such as Los Angeles, it's really easy to get caught up in the fast-movingness of just life in the world, and also just how society puts such a high pressure, especially with both of you. Both of you guys are just incredibly accomplished, and I definitely look up to everything that you guys do. But how do you guys find a healthy balance with achieving societal pressure and maintaining a healthy balance? I'm still learning it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you packaged it as societal package, pressure, but it's all kinds of different pressures like bundled into like societal. There's cultural, there's belief system pressure, there is, our own wishes and desires for ourselves. There's the friends, there's the constantly comparing to a better standard so it's a lot of different types of peer pressure and marketing pressure. You have to be unique. You have to be different. You have to be, niche. You have a niche. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. And so I think for me, at the end of the day, being in tune with my feeling tone, like the tone of experience, is this pleasant? Is this unpleasant? Is this painful? Is this, peaceful? Is this neutral? That gives me an indication of adjusting and kind of not, no, 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 not going that way. That pressure, though it may sound so, it's a social reality, everybody believes in it, does it? It doesn't feel right for me. I'm not going there. Just constantly coming back to finding the balance internally. That gives me the answer or the guidance that I need. But it has to be developed also. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And then I think for me, one of the biggest myths is that balance means you're always standing exactly in the middle of the tightrope, perfectly balanced and never moving. And I think that balance really, sometimes you swing way in one direction and then you swing way in the other direction. And then the balance part is keeping yourself on the tightrope, right? And so that you don't go too far in one direction so that you're completely off of it. But life is never going to be, that homeostasis point where you're just standing still and you don't, especially, I know this question sort of came from you, Dave, but for all of us, none of us want to be standing still, right? We want to be moving, we want to be doing things, we want to be changing things. And with that comes a complete lack of balance sometimes, but they're completely moving in one direction or the other. And then that, overall having that point where you feel comfortable and you're able to check in, like Manjieh was just saying, with that you are comfortable in the zone that you're in. I think is the most important thing for me, sort of, I guess as I'm getting older as well, sort of noticing the patterns there, that it's not the single thing that you're striving for of balance. It is an overall feeling. It's the sensation of being calm and at peace with everything going on in your life, and not having feeling like you're being pulled in too many different directions that are uncomfortable to that sense.
I had a question to ask you, Manjieh. Being a professor at UCLA, where you're around so many people that are pushing towards perfection and overachieving, how do you notice when somebody's putting themselves under too much pressure? Like, what are some signs that we might be able to see or notice in people when societal pressure or cultural pressure or this pressure to succeed is placed on somebody and they're feeling the need that they have to meet these pressures?
Mhm. Yeah. Well, first of all, I've not taught at UCLA, but for UCLA in different locations. So, but yeah, I see people that are completely have given into the idea of perfection or the idea of it's not good enough, the idea of, I have to do more, I have to do more. And there was a video I was watching, a TED Talk by Mirella Surella, I believe, that said, yeah, she's asking, why are you running? How fast are you running? What kind of a runner are you? And it was interesting that what kind of a runner are you was posed as opposed to do we need to run? Is this
Mhm.
a place to run? Is it time to reflect? Is it time to, but your question to how do I detect it? How do I see it in other people? Easy. Tension, tightness. I mean, you're in the business of people's bodies. You feel it all the time. You could tell all the time. Yeah. Tension, tightness, and just feeling like, off, not present, not connected, not listening. When you are on your kind of journey to accomplish, you're less connected to what's happening right now. It feels like it. You could tell the people are not listening. People are in a rush. People are in a restless kind of move, or energy to move, constantly moving. And so all I do is wish them well in my mind, in my heart. I see it. And then internally, secretly, without them knowing, I take a breath.
Mm.
When I take a breath, it's like somebody who's anxious, they're talking fast or they're exuding their anxiousness outwardly. I just take a breath, not in a way that's obvious. And in my mind, I say, may you be peaceful. May you be at ease. And I see there's a little change. They just a little calm down a little bit. And then I just keep on listening or keep on being calm and keep on breathing internally to sort of ward off that the impact of their thing on me. And it actually changes their experience too. It impacts them.
I love the what kind of runner are you comment, because we started this off talking about societal pressures and external pressures, but a lot of those pressures often are coming from within, right? They're coming from in you. Like, you know, uh, for all of us, we're always, involved in many, many things and running constantly. And I think doing a lot, I've like myself, I've been doing a lot of examining of where certain impulses come from. Like, why is it that I feel like this is so important? Does it trace back to, something in my past, or why is it that this is what I think I should be doing right now? And that idea of like, people are sort of have their own state that they're running in, right? So are you somebody that's running very fast? Are you trying to do a lot of things very quickly? Are you someone that does stand back a lot more, and kind of plan? I think that that's such an interesting question as we pose this as a sort of societal impact on you kind of question at the beginning. But often, yeah, looking at the ways that you are influencing your own decisions and yourself, and maybe imposing some of those societal expectations on yourself, where other people might not have the same expectations for you.
Yeah, and just getting to know yourself as to what you're willing to allow in, whether the pressures of needing to succeed or achieve, or timelines, or whatever society tells you you're supposed to do at a certain time, as you're saying, you still have that decision as to, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? Do I want to fall into this pressure? And I think it is society, but then it also does marry with what am I allowing and what am I going to do? And then just finding your ways to, as you said, not just finding balance because it's not in the center, but just going in life with grace and seeing where to put your energy and where to draw back your energy. But also, reflection, I think, is just so important for that, as you're saying, because if you don't reflect, how are you ever going to know where you are, where you're going, or what you have accomplished or haven't accomplished, or what pressures you're putting on yourself? Maybe you even have a goal and you're not reflecting, you might have already met it.
Yeah, yeah, very true. And I think I was just recently listening to this book called Your Money or Your Life. It was an old book from the 80s about money, and that it was redone a couple of years ago. But it, like, one of the things that I thought was very interesting was that you trade your life energy for money. And the similarly, and even if it's not for money, a lot of us are trading our life energy for whatever it is that we're running towards, whatever is pulling us out of balance. We're trading whatever life energy being whatever amount of time you have left on this world, right? And you're trading that for whatever it is you're doing. And so this finding balance is, I think, for me, increasingly becoming being happy with those things that I'm doing in that time. Some of which is to make money, some of which is to spend time with family, some of which is, to have fun. It's but an interesting way to kind of frame it as what kind of expectations are you putting on yourself? What are you living up to? What do those need to be there? How important are they for you in the long run? And are there other ways you could analyze the situation?
Yeah, yeah. I have a niece, 8 years old. She's now really grown up, way too much. I wish she was four still. It was amazing. But I remember when she would get upset, the first thing that would come out of my mouth to her would be, "Don't give up your happiness. Don't give up your happiness." It's like you're getting upset because, oh, the neighbor or the friend's father bought her two of the whatever she got, and my niece got one of those. And I said, "Do you know you're giving up your joy, your peace, your happiness because, but what are you going to do with the second thing that you want?" So can you imagine growing up with always being, I mean, especially in this culture that we are in, uh, go for it, you're the best, you're the princess, you can do anything you want to do. These messages are so sometimes like, my God, distractive. You can do anything you want to. Honestly, really. And then when obstacles show up, when we don't want to do, when we are, okay and want to be content, that message says, "Oh, you're a failure," or can be interpreted as you're a
Mhm.
failure. So I think really watching our own identities that we have. I can do anything. I'm the woman who's supposed to do. I am the leader. I am this. I am that. Sometimes it's like, I don't want to do it anymore. No, I want to just go into a village, get a cabin, and live in like by a river and just maybe somebody would fish for me. I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
So this, yeah,
I
the
think it's important
expectation
to add
that
in.
we pick up as our identity can be examined.
And I think that's important to like add in and talk about because one, I don't want to be everything. But two, I think there's also this point where you hit your journey where you meet resistance. And I think that's where we have to be very discerning as to, is this resistance blocking us from a path that we're not meant to go down? Or is this resistance building us up to push it to the next level that's going to take us there? And I think that's really important when you evaluate it. And also, too, as you're saying, just societal saying like you can do this or you can do that. Um, yeah, as you're saying, there's certain things I just don't want to do. And I think sometimes when it comes with societal pressures now, especially for women, now it's like we can do everything. I don't want to carry something heavy. I'm sorry. Like there's certain feminine norms I still like to live by, but there are those societal pressures. And I think like too, just finding that discernment of what is meant for you and what's not meant for you. And I think the part of my journey that I was in I think about like a year or two ago, I was getting met with a lot of resistance. And I was just pushing and pushing and pushing to try to maintain myself on a path that wasn't in alignment for me. And then once I just like gave in and just surrendered to it and just let it go, everything just started aligning and everything aligned with so much ease. And that's really like how I knew, okay, this is like the path I'm meant to be on. I've definitely found some struggles along the way, but definitely not at that level of resistance. And I think that's really important to add into where sometimes redirection can feel like failure. And I think comparisons of people's timelines and comparison, especially with social media, it's so fast on the phone. You can check in with what people want to show and portray as their life at any given moment in time, which I think adds into this pressure of, well, I'm a certain age, I need to have accomplished this, or I'm in this field, I should have accomplished this, or the X, Y, and Z of it. And I think like taking that step back to reflect, I also going off to a cabin sounds very nice because
Mhm.
but I think it's just finding that discernment of what is for you, what's not for you, and just remembering not to compare your path to anybody else's path because we're all here for a unique purpose. So you're not going to find that unique purpose in everybody. You're not going to find that in the commonality. And I think that's the biggest lie society sells us is we're supposed to be the same.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I'm going
great.
on a retreat from April 10 to 19. No telephone, no conversation, silence, one meal a day. So this is really, really, and meditation,
That's
reflection,
great.
just we do nothing and no digital.
Well, it's
So
been so long since I've been on one of those retreats. Sounds
Does
yeah,
napping count?
we need training. We need to be put into situations where we can actually develop those qualities. We can't just wish for them and then go, and then think we should be able to do them because we wish for them. We have to practice. We have to develop them.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I wanted to say really quick before we close out, there's some really interesting videos on YouTube about the golden child syndrome, about all of the kids that were told all along, you can do everything, you're so special, you will do everything, you're going to change the world, it's you, you have all the resources, everything, you're going to do such special things. As they get into being adults, and some of us may have been in those groups, that it ends up creating a lot of psychological kind of issues, right? Because you're like, if you feel like you didn't live up to those things, even if you have reached a lot of goals and milestones, if you didn't reach the point of being the golden child, of being the most special, of being the whatever it is that you thought that you should in your life, that it kind of creates some issues of maybe balance or of understanding your sort of place in the world and what it is that you want to be doing even. Um,
but you have accomplished something extraordinary, Elizabeth. Tell us about that. Your book, your
yes, so we submitted a
media.
manuscript for the encyclopedia. It's the first AI in the law encyclopedia. It will be a little while before it's published, but yes, over the last couple of weeks, the full manuscript has been submitted. So it's
Wow.
quite a big thing.
Yes. Thank you
Uh,
for that.
and it's actually interesting. After that manuscript was submitted, I have a couple other writing projects I'm working on, and it's been since getting that off of my plate, that giant thing that was sitting there. I've been freed up to work on a lot of these, or just my mind. Even though I have a lot of other work to do, I've had a kind of a renewed energy for some of the other projects that have been having to take the back burner for so long.
For sure.
So that's been fun.
Wow.
But this was a great conversation. Thank you both for joining today. And this was episode 6 of the Humanity in Flow podcast.
Let's do it. Flow. Let's flow. Thank you. Bye bye.